Article 2. The Colorado Bill of Rights is unique in that it is the only article within our Constitution that has its own preamble. In order to assert our rights, acknowledge our duties, and proclaim the principles upon which our government is founded, we declare. Focus on the first clause. In order to assert our rights. The choice of language is very concise and bold. Rights must be asserted. Rights are not given. Rights are not the domain of the state. They are not gifted by the state to the people. Rights are asserted by the people. If the people were ever to stop asserting their rights, they would surely lose those rights. Next, acknowledge our duties. Duties are, of course, responsibilities. The Bill of Rights defines responsibilities for the people. At the same time, Article 2 defines rights. You do not simply have a right to protect your home. You have a responsibility to protect your home. Within every section of the Bill of Rights, a symbiotic relationship between the people's rights and their responsibilities are established. Clearly, the founders believe that the People's Bill of Rights has great importance, as this is their first focus after defining the physical dimensions of the state. The people's rights were more important than any branch of government, and hence were addressed immediately. The key question posed in this section of the presentation was, where does the power of the state come from? Section 1 of Article 2 addresses this question directly and immediately. All political power is vested in and derived from the people. All government of right originates from the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. All political power is derived from the people. Political power may only be achieved by the consent of the people. We hear the phrase, government employees work for me, they work for the people. I am sure we have all thought about removing some of these employees from the public payroll from time to time, simply due to the fact that it is clear to us that these employees have forgotten who they work for. When a police officer claims to have the authority to order one of the people about on their own property, without judicial mandate or having directly witnessed a crime, they have clearly forgotten their place. Yet, I fear, the real culprit in these abuses is us. We have forgotten our responsibility to assert our rights and put those abusive officers of the state back on the firm foundation set forth in the Colorado Constitution. I will say I hesitate to come to the conclusion that we are the sole problem. As I will demonstrate later, there has been a systematic erosion of our basic precepts of government that have now left us with little choice. For when I speak about the we, and we have forgotten to assert our rights, that we is generational. This process began long ago and is exemplified by our current educational process that either skips state civics or lightly skims through this critical topic, leaving our young believing that is either a non-existent, or at least a not important component to their education. When state civics is covered, our young escape with some understanding of their rights, but woefully undereducated about their responsibilities. In my mind, state civics is one of the critical keys necessary for preserving our great state for generations to come. I strongly suspect that it is through the interference of the federal government in our state educational system that has led to this abandonment, or at least the de-emphasis, of state civics. How strong is the people's control over this state government? Laid out in Article 2, Section 2, the answer is clearly laid before us. The people of this state have the sole and exclusive right of governing themselves as a free, sovereign, and independent state, and to alter and abolish their constitution and form of government whenever they may deem it necessary to their safety and happiness, provided such changes not be repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. Clearly, the people are their own masters, with the ability to eradicate this current state government anytime they so choose. The state government does not control the people. Exactly the opposite. The people control the state government. The last clause, such change be not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States, is taken directly from the Colorado Enabling Act. While the people of Colorado must establish a constitution and a Republican form of government to adhere to our Enabling Act contract, we are free to abolish our current government whenever we deem necessary and establish a new government as long as that new government adheres to our initial contract. How many people in the state of Colorado are aware that we may abolish this current government? I dare say very few. Unfortunately, a popular myth has entered into our culture. You can't fight City Hall. This is the myth of defeatism popularized by the advocates of despotism and tyrants. Not only may we fight City Hall, we have a responsibility to fight City Hall. The state legislature, the state judicial branch, any and all officers and offices of the state government that threaten our safety and happiness, including abolishing the entire government if we see fit. Our forefathers knew that over time all governments tend to drift towards dictatorship, and this was their method of not only informing us, but also giving us the responsibility to dramatically correct these inevitable erosions of a constitutional republic. It is through this mechanism that an out-of-control government may be peacefully coerced back into compliance with the will of the people. A failure to execute this responsibility is exactly the same as committing treason. In this overview presentation, I had two goals. 1. Provide the logical and legal evidence for something we all know already. We, the people of Colorado, are in charge of the state of Colorado. 2. Demonstrate that anyone with the ability to research, read, and reason would be able to document our common knowledge as legal fact. This presentation does not dive into my legal crisis that has provoked my own education. In fact, before I do lay my challenges in front of you, I have a few more facts to surface to allow you to understand the radical infringement upon all of our rights routinely conducted by our local government officials. Based upon my research, I have come to the conclusion that the corruption began at the federal level and has been trickling down to the local government agencies over the years. I hope that you will take the time to share this journey with me, as I think that each of us has an obligation to thwart the advancement of tyranny and return the Colorado Republic to a sound foundation, one county at a time. Peace. This has been Dave Brady from the Krakatoa Ranch.